Welcome back, my name's Devin, and today we're going to talk about the current state of the NFT market. I know there's been a lot of red, there's been a lot of losses, so can we expect the NFT market to go downhill even further? Or can we expect to be in a recovery here pretty soon? And have we already hit the bottom of the real estate market? Well, diving in over to Dune Analytics, you can see that we just closed one of the worst months that we've seen in a long time, almost a year, because the OpenSea monthly volume in Ethereum, which you can see right here on this bar graph, in the entirety of June was just shy of $700 million. And you can see this peak that we had over here in January at almost $5 billion in total volume, and coming down here all the way just down to $700 million is extremely low. And it's almost right on par with what we saw last July in 2021. Although it still is about double what we saw in July, but 700 million is a lot closer to that $330 million mark than it is to this $5 billion mark. And obviously that has been a result of these daily volume numbers, which we can see floating right around the 30 million, the $25 million mark, sometimes even as low as 15, 16, 17, even $10 million in a single day. But what's interesting to see is if you look at the total number of NFTs that have been sold recently, you actually see that we're still seeing roughly the same amount of NFTs sold. Last month in June, we had about 1.5 million NFTs sold. The month prior, 1.4 million, 1.7, 1.58, 1.9 million. 2.2 million NFTs sold in January, so that was a big spike. But it is really interesting to see that even though we're down to about $700 million in volume, substantially lower than May, which was $2.6 billion in volume, but we actually saw more NFTs sold in the month of June. So why was that? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Even though NFTs have been making a lot of losses in terms of total Ethereum, there still are a lot of buyers out there trying to buy NFTs, and they've seen this bear market that we're in as a great buying opportunity to buy some NFTs that were probably out of their price range a couple months ago, but now they can pick up some of these NFTs for a significant discount. And supporting that, if you come over and look at the monthly active traders on OpenSea as well, you can see that we still saw in June right under 400,000 active traders, 422 the month before, 475, 451. So we do still see a good amount of people on OpenSea on a monthly basis actively trading, buying, and selling NFTs. So if you're concerned that the concept of NFTs as a technology and as an industry was going downhill and wasn't going to recover, well, these stats that you can see right here to me show that yes, we have seen some people drop out of the market, but not nearly as many people dropped out of buying and selling NFTs as we saw this drop off in volume. So this just shows that overall there's less money being poured into NFTs, but there's still just about the same amount of people being active and involved with NFTs. And if you go over to track the floor prices for some popular NFTs, you're gonna see that a lot of these NFTs are down in a pretty big way, even still after a month or 2 months of this significant downturn in the market. Because if you look at Bored Ape Yacht Club right now, sitting at a floor price of about 85.99 Ethereum at the time of filming this video. And you can see this floor price tracker from December that we're at this 85 Ethereum mark, which is about where we saw ourselves back in February and also back in the start of January. Now, we did see some massive spikes in the meantime where we got up to about 150 Ethereum in floor price. So we have dropped significantly from that peak. And over the last 30 days, we've stayed relatively constant. We have seen a couple peaks and valleys, but overall, this project has stabilized, seemingly to me from this chart. And for CryptoPunks in the last 30 days, we've actually seen their floor price go up. At the start of June, they were sitting at around 50 Ethereum, just under, but now we're at that 65, 66 Ethereum mark. So we've seen some good upward mobility for the CryptoPunks project. Now, Moonbirds as well, about a month ago, was sitting at about 22 Ethereum. Right now, we're at about 20 and a half Ethereum. So really right around that same range. We did see this really low valley at about 15 Ethereum in the middle of June, but we have recovered a bit from that. So it is interesting to see that some of these more high value, high profile collections are recovering fairly well, at least from some of those lows that we've seen recently. Obviously, they've not recovered from this 37, 38 Ethereum floor price that we saw a couple months ago, but being up around 20 when they were at 15 is still a somewhat positive sign to see. And then the last one I'll show, Doodles, is also right around that 13 Ethereum mark. And they were at that peak right here of about 25 Ethereum back in May. So we are still at about 50% loss since that point. But we're also not near what we were back in December, which was right around 3 to 4 Ethereum. So now the question everyone's asking, are we actually at the bottom of the NFT market, and can we expect the floor prices for the NFTs that you may be holding to go up from here? Well, personally, I don't quite think that we're at the bottom of the NFT market yet. And that's because I don't think we're at the bottom of the traditional financial market yet. And crypto and NFTs are going to somewhat do identical things to what the normal financial markets are doing. And right now, the stock markets are still in bear territory. And until we see those recovering a significant amount, I don't think we're gonna see a lot more people pouring substantial amounts of money into crypto and NFTs. I think we're gonna see a bit of a recovery in the stocks first, and then we're gonna see that start to trickle into crypto and NFTs as people become a bit more confident. But right now, we're just not really seeing that euphoric time that we were seeing like we did at the start of 2021, where everyone was just dumping their money into GameStop and other meme stocks. Everyone was putting all their money into various altcoins like SafeMoon and other random coins. And then people started dumping a bunch of money into NFTs. And we're just so far removed psychologically from that time period that people are gonna have to take some time and really feel comfortable investing their money into something that's not very secure and not very safe and pretty volatile like NFTs or like crypto. But rest assured, I do believe that in the coming years, who knows how long this is gonna last, but in the coming years, we are gonna see a recovery for the crypto market and the NFT market. It's just gonna take some time, and I don't think we can expect to see more all-time highs within the next couple of weeks. I just don't think that's realistic. So what should you do if you have some NFTs that you're down on quite a bit? Should you continue holding those or just cut your losses and sell? Well, I really think it depends on how valuable of a collection you have. If you have a Bored Ape that you bought at 150 and you're sitting at around 85, 90 Ethereum floor price on that NFT, well, in my personal opinion, if you can afford to hold, that's what I would do. But if you have some random NFT that you've lost 80% on and you don't think that this NFT is really gonna go anywhere, then it could be a good idea to cut your losses and move on. And if you do have some liquidity right now and you're wondering what you should do with it, I would focus on some of the really blue chip well-known projects like Doodles, like Bored Apes if you have that kind of money, or like Moonbirds, or like Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Especially with Ethereum down to about $1,100 or so, when you see those floor prices for those NFTs, they're actually a lot cheaper than they were even a couple of months ago. Because if you buy an NFT that's 10 Ethereum, but it's only about $1,000 per coin, then it's gonna cost you about $10,000. Versus a couple months ago, maybe you could have gotten into Doodles for say 5 Ethereum, but that Ethereum price was $3,000, so you're really spending $15,000. So that is just something to think about. Consider getting into projects that are very high value, that could really have some real long-term brand associated with that project, and also consider maybe getting some ETH to go into those projects if you do have the ability to. So all in all, I think we're still gonna see a bit more downward movement from NFTs and crypto in general, but over time, I do expect that at least the extremely well-known and blue chip projects will recover. I think we are gonna see probably 98, 97, 99% of all these NFT projects on the market, because there are thousands. I think we're gonna see the vast majority of those non-existent in the next decade. So you really have to ask yourself, a decade from now, which projects do I want to bet on still being around and still being successful? Those are the ones I look into. Thanks for watching.